Hello again, everybody. Zach Attack is here, my WWE Hall of Fame review for tonight, Saturday, April 2nd, 2016, from the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, continuing the WrestleMania weekend festivities with the class of 2016. Now, it's been quite the weekend already with, of course, the amazing, epic NXT TakeOver on Friday, which probably has stolen the entire weekend. Nakamura's in. What else can I say? But the Hall of Fame itself, ceremony, this is my second time reviewing the Hall of Fame because it's the third year in a row that WWE Network's aired it live. Before the advent of the network, the only way you could see the full ceremony was to buy the WrestleMania DVD. So it's kind of cool to broadcast live every year. There's another fun ceremony. And that was a good one. Some great highlights. Plus, an announcement that had been rumored for weeks. And despite denials, I think it was only denied because he wanted to keep it a secret, although it was already leaked. And the announcement was made official tonight, as you see from my subtitle. And I'll get to that in a second. So let's get through the inductees and my thoughts on their speeches and also their presenters as well. And give me some of my fake awards for like my favorite presenter and all that. Blah, 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 blah. We opened up with The Godfather. Whole train! I was 11 years old when the Attitude Era happened, and I was a fan of that era. And I started watching wrestling for a few years. I rented some videos from the video store, but I started watching Raw full-time again on 98, 99 during that era. And Godfather was one of my favorites, even though I didn't know what the hell a hole was. Yeah, well, but as a music guy, I was singing a song called Silly Hole from TLC from the album Fan Mail. So I was singing that and then singing The Whole Train from Godfather. And I was, like I said, 11 years old. Didn't know what the hell that was. But I still loved the character and I was a fan of him. Even though I didn't know until later. And then, of course, acknowledged the fact that he was Cora and Papa Shango. He was only inducted as a Godfather. Of course, inducted tonight by APA. One of the funniest. It's good and interesting that all the funniest inductors tonight, most of the best people who inducted people, were tag teams. I'll get to one in a second. And APA was funny. Of course, Juan Simmons and JBL, but did not get a damn though. That was the only disappointment. Damn! I'll do it. But they had a very funny induction speech up. Godfather, of course, telling stories they cannot say on TV. They still had a good banter against each other. He had a lot of laughs. He had balanced the comedy with the tears on this show. Godfather came out. Yes, he brought the holes with him. He got some girls that go into the holes. And he did say, at the beginning and end of his speech, it's time once again for everybody to come aboard the whole train. Of course, WWE would not let him say, "Let that blood up and say, pimpin' it easy." Yeah, I had to do the whole thing. It's time to wall up fatty. Oh, yeah, I do the whole thing. And he also didn't say, Godfather would be pimping holes nationwide. Wall up fatty, but this pimp daddy, let that blood up and say, pimpin' it easy. So, he had a short speech. A couple speeches were short. But he had a good short speech about thanking his family. And he looked good, by the way. He looked good, man. I haven't seen him in a couple years. I know he made appearances in WWE, but I don't think he hasn't lately. But he looked good up there. Still looking like a pimp. See me in Vegas was another thing. And he said Godfather and Charles White, his real name, all the same person. Juan Simmons said it in his inductor speech. So, it was a fun speech to kick off the show here. Great opening to the ceremony. Now, on to our second inductee, should I say, Stan the Lariat Hansen, who was inducted by Vader. I can't do it. Because I can't do the Star Wars dance, do my best Vader. Oh, man, he's looking good. But it's interesting to see him without the mask. It's not often you see Vader without that mask. The red one. Not the Mastodon mask that he was talking about. He had a great funny story. Well, kind of a gruesome story with a funny twist about the time that he and Stan fought in the Tokyo Dome and Vader's eye fell out. He had these fake glasses that had high eye pop out, adding a little bit of humor to it. So there was a lot of humor, like I said, to balance out the emotions of the night. With these legends getting honored, or in some cases, celebrities getting honored. So they had a good induction speech. Instead, Larry Hansen came out. He gets the Larry Zbyszko speech too long award. Larry Zbyszko's speech was way too long last year. Kind of rambled a little. It almost felt that way with Stan Hansen. He kind of rambled. And you had others who had long speeches tonight, but their long speeches were fun. But Stan Larry's speech was kind of long, a little bit, kind of rambled a little, kind of like Zbyszko. Not as bad as Zbyszko, but close to being rambling like Zbyszko last year. That's why he gets the Larry Zbyszko Speech Too Long Award. My little fake award. Because I always have some of these fake awards when I do reviews of award ceremonies in events like the Hall of Fame. When I make these kind of reviews. So, Stan, talk about his Japanese, taking people. He's using both All Japan, which I know much All Japan, but of course I've been watching New Japan lately, for last year. That's why I was probably one of the few people that actually knew who the hell Nakamura was, and I've actually seen his matches in New Japan. So I've seen him on Access TV, because I have that network. Still don't have El Rey, that has Lucha Underground, but at least I have access for New Japan. In syndication for Ring of Honor. But we're not talking about those organizations. We're talking about WWE and Stan Hansen going in the Hall of Fame. I don't think Hansen was in WWE. Maybe he was. Because I know he's in WCW. Wrestled Luger for the U.S. Championship in 1990. Had a nasty clothesline. There are a lot of people referenced, including JBL, who Stan thanked during his very little long speech. And he talked about Rick Martel losing him in 9 seconds. You gotta see some names that get recognized and shouted out that don't get shouted out often. Because Stan mentioned Rick Martel. Snoop Dogg mentioned Gorilla Monsoon. That was cool. He mentioned Gorilla Monsoon. But Stan's speech, a little long, but it was okay. Not as bad as Larry's speech last year. Good. Decent moments in that speech, even though it was long. Third inductee, should I say. Jacqueline, inducted by the Dudley Boys. Besides another very entertaining tag team. No, these were another funny promo, very funny inductors. Especially when Devon does a funny spot when Devon's like, you get your own damn table. When they were talking about tables, but heels are not being able to use tables anymore. People talking trash in the crowd, and Bubba's like, I know we're not supposed to use tables anymore, but I'll put someone through a table. And Devon's like, he followed up with, get your own damn table. Because, of course, you have Devon for years. That was points for Devon for that funny little jab there. And, of course, Bubba mentioned the fact that this is TV PG, and they cannot tell all the story about Jacqueline. But they had a great, speech inducting her, about her toughness, tough in the ring and out of the ring. And being a great woman. And even though in that Attitude Era you had so many great women, of course, the first 2 women you think of in the Attitude Era, well, 3. You think of Sable, you think of Trish, you think of Lita. Jacqueline should be up there considered as one of the other big pioneering women in that Attitude Era. She looked great. I haven't seen her in WWE for years. She was in TNA for a bit with Bobby Roode, who was at NXT TakeOver on Friday. And she's a little older now, but she's still looking good. She had a very short speech, unlike Hansen. She thanked a lot of people, thanked the family, and acknowledged the people in her Attitude Era. You had Trish. Trish wasn't there. Lita was there. She was mentioned. Molly Holly, who was there. It's cool to see Molly Holly there. And she looked good. Terry Waddles, haven't seen her in a lot of years. She was there. Of course, she was married at one point to Dustin Rhodes. Go Dust, who was there. So, they probably are still friends. We also, Jackie's speech was a very fun speech. Talk about her beginnings in Texas. Because she's from Dallas, so it's kind of cool to have her be inducted in the Hall of Fame. Especially in Dallas. Her home state and her home city. So, a short speech. They gave everybody a great time. And I think the Dudleys said Jackie Moore. That's her real name. So they didn't say Jacqueline. They called her Jackie Moore. Speaking of people who are finally inducted, especially well-deserved, long awaited arrival to the Hall of Fame, especially they had to wait to the right time. The right time is to have another WrestleMania in Texas. It's been since WrestleMania 25. There was me in the state of Texas. Houston, we saw Von Erichs get inducted in Houston. Now in Dallas, we finally got to see an induction of the fabulous Freebirds. Kudos to WWE for asking Universal Music in Lynyrd Skynyrd for the rights to use Freebird. That was awesome. They got to use Freebird tonight from the Lynyrd Skynyrd band to let them use it. I don't know how much money they had to pay for that song. But it could have let to see him use it instead of some cheap ass instrumental. They'll probably blow it later, but it was still cool to hear Freebird used. And you had the New Day inducting him. New Day was a very questionable choice for a lot of people, especially with the racial things about the Freebirds, with waving the rebel flag. And the fact it wasn't Kevin Von Erich inducting him, which was made up for later because Kevin was brought up during the speech, so I made up for him not inducting New Day. And everything about New Day inducting, not only did WWE made up for New Day induction of Freebird with two things. They made up for that with not only Kevin Von Erich showing up, but they made up for New Day inducting the Freebirds by having New Day prove why they are the most entertaining tag team right now in the main roster. I was wondering if Big E was going to do the Hall of Fame, and he did. And they came out looking fly, so fresh and so clean, Outcast reference, with their matching suits, and they had a great induction speech to induct the Freebirds with. And it was proving once again why they are one of the best teams. Not just outside the ring, in the ring, but outside the ring. And the innuendos with, we have a nice unit. PG guys. But still, they kind of poking a little bit with that little innuendo joke. Like, we have a nice unit. And Big E's like, I have a clean unit. So, and they were funny tonight, as usual. New Day's always funny. Even if people were questioning New Day, like I said, they were questioning him, but why they were inducting Freebirds. PSX has a little hand in creating New Day backstage. And of course, multi-man team, Freebird War. And I did like they did the, I never thought of it till they did it. Why did I think about doing the Freebirds Rock? That was awesome they did that. And the fans did it for them as they came out. Of course, Jimmy Jam Garvin, Michael PSX coming out to Freebird. That was like the highlight of the night. Besides, obviously, an icon. The other big highlight was the fabulous Freebird, the whole thing. The promo video with them using Freebird, the New Day inducting him, and of course the induction speech which had Michael PSA and Jimmy Jam Garvin. Probably one of the best speeches of the night. Most funny speeches of them telling funny ass stories about Buddy Roberts and Cherry Bam Bam Gory, who are no longer with us. Their sons accepted his aunt for their honor. You had Jack Jr. and you had Goldie's son. Oh my God. Terry, his son's name. Oh, Wayne Gordy, who was known as Jesse, with Festus and Jesse. Biscuits and gravy! It's nice to see him back in the WWE to accept his dad's honor. And then they did, like I said, they did bring out Kevin Von Erich. That was cool. That made up for not letting Kevin induct him. I know a lot of people would have loved to see Kevin be the one. Von Erich feud with the Freebird, especially in Dallas. Come on. It was cool to see Kevin get up there and say a little word or two, and kind of having a great public outing with the Freebirds. And the stories that Freebirds told, they were funny stories. A lot, like I said, you had to match the humor with the tears. I know I've said that a couple times, but it's true. Because there's a lot of emotion shared by these guys. And Michael PSA is people wondering what the hell he's going to wear. And he wore this hat. He had a white, black jacket with a Bass for USA shirt underneath it. And a pair of jeans. They wore a money pair of jeans, but a nice pair of jeans. And I haven't seen Jimmy Garvin in a couple of years. He looks decent. He looks so different now. Without the hair and, of course, without the beard. He looks so different. Bald and clean shaven, so he looks so different, but he looking decent, man. So it's cool to see them get inducted at long last. Seeing Freebird get inducted. And like I said, the funny stories they told. Very funny stories. Probably one of the funniest speeches of the night. When it comes to coming from an inductee. They ended, I was like, well, if they let him come out the Freebird, There's only one song they need to walk out to when it comes to the end of their speech. They gotta end by playing Bad Fit USA. Well, they did. Now that they play it, they let Michael Hayes sing it. It was kind of cool to see him sing it, moving his fucking stage. He even did a moonwalk as well. He can still do a moonwalk. He sang the song, he went to the crowd, shaking hands with the fans, and shaking hands with the superstars and legends at ringside on the floor while singing Bad Fit USA. Now's a good way to end it with him singing that theme song. Bad Street, Atlanta, GA. Baddest street in the whole USA. Bad Street, nasty and hot. Further down the block, the better it got. They had some superstars singing it on camera. It's kind of a cool mode to end with. Great way to end the speech from the Fabulous Freebirds. I was surprised they weren't second to last. I thought they'd be before Sting. But maybe they purposely put London and Snoop Dogg together for bathroom breaks. But before those two, after the Freebirds, we had the Big Boss Man to be inducted. Slick, the Doctor of Style, his first manager, was up there to present it. He's not as recognizable as other legends of that era. When other legends of the '80s get recognized, they're mentioned a lot. But you don't hear a lot about Slick. They don't mention Slick a lot in all kind of footage. So when he comes out, people don't know him that much because he's appeared on WWE Programming last couple years. He was on War 1000 as the preacher for the Daniel Bryan AJ wedding. He didn't get a good response because, like I said, no one knows him that much because he's not shown a lot. No cover footage. He's not as publicly known. He's not as applauded as others from that era. But it's still cool to see him look good out there. Still got that style, the giant soul bro. A giant soul bro. And always lying to your friends. You're a giant soul bro. You're a giant soul bro. And you never get nothing in the end. God, I played that power drive. I'm not ashamed to say that I had almost every wrestling album there was. I had the WrestleMania album. I was even jamming the WrestleMania. I've been jamming that all weekend. I know there's a lot of singing in this review. So I'm sorry in advance for all my continuous singing tonight. With the WrestleMania. And I had the Power Driver cassette. I had it on cassette, man. Blare the hell out of that Power Driver cassette with John Soul Bro and If You Only Knew. I'll stop. I play the music as a disc jockey, not sing them. So yeah, it's Slick coming out to induct the Big Boss Man, talk about his first manager, being his first manager, Twin Towers, of course, with Akeem, aka One Man Gang. Oh, maybe that's why One Man gave the Stan Hansen did too. So Stan Hansen influenced One Man Gang, who also influenced Bubba Ray and his Bully Ray gimmick in TNA. And there was a little backhanded TNA reference tonight by one of the inductees. I'll get to that. So they talked about how good a Big Boss Man was, and I was a fan of Big Boss Man in the early days when he was, the blue and the black. If you ever take a trip, sorry, I'm singing again. Give some hard times, because he's been dead for about 12 years, and his wife and his children, his 2 daughters accepted it. She kind of mentioned she was a 9-year-old, talking about going to school being weird to explain to the kids, because her dad was the villain. When she was a kid, it was the Attitude Era Boss Man, the corporation. You haven't seen much about the corporation yet because all the time when the Boss Man was announced to be inducted, they only mentioned his 90s era character. They didn't mention anything about the corporation character until tonight. Even his daughter's it was tough to explain to kids that he didn't really eat pepper. Of course, Al Snow's dog in that storyline in 1999, and of course the Big Show's dad thing with the casket and stuff. I'm making a video. So, there you go. Great speeches from the Boss Man. I think one of his daughters spoke, his wife spoke, his other daughter didn't speak though. But it was cool. I do get. I wish he was still here because I was a big fan of his. It's always sad when WWE. I'm glad WWE inducts a lot of people, but it's also sad when they finally induct people that are no longer alive, that are no longer here to accept their honor. Biggest example of waiting until he dies to accept his honor. Should have given him when he was alive, damn it. Same thing with Boss Man. Could have given it to him when he was alive. Even though when the Hall of Fame was in '04, the first year was '04 when he started doing Hall of Fames again in '04 during WrestleMania weekend. So there you go. Still good to see him get on it. Next up, the celebrity honors. Yeah, Snoop Dogg next in the celebrity week. And I was like, who's gonna duck Snoop Dogg? I thought Sasha, but I saw Sasha in the crowd. I was like, okay, she's not ducking Snoop. Who is? John Cena. Maybe you're like, okay, John Cena's a rapper, and he's kind of like Snoop Dogg, rapper. However, we let John Cena come out for two reasons. One, he's a rapper, and two, give the fans a chance to serenade John Cena because he's not wrestling no more. Or is he? He is cleared. But right now, as of right now, it is the first Cena. It's the first Cena-free WrestleMania. It's still weird, but at least the fans got the chance to serenade. John Cena sucks. Once again, sorry for the singing. Doing a lot of singing here in this review. So, bear with me here. I promise, there won't be enough. I will not sing as much or at all during my WrestleMania review tomorrow. Anyway, Cena came out talking about Snoop Dogg and his honors, in the rap game. And his personal being a great coach for his kids' football team. And talking about Snoop's participation in WWE. I think he's been on a WWE album. If I am correct, and I need to double check this, Snoop Dogg was actually on a WWE, or should I say, WWF album. Once again, mentioned the albums. Of course, mentioning I had Power Driver, I had WrestleMania the album. I also had Aggression, a rap album that came out in 2000. And Snoop Dogg sung on that album. And he sung a song, if I'm correct, it was from Stone Cold Steve Austin. He never used it. But I know some superstars did use the Aggression theme songs like Ice-T's Pippin' Ain't Easy for Godfather. There's a little snippet of him performing in a Mania doing Godfather's Induction. And also I think Big Show used his Aggression theme for a little bit. But I did have that Aggression in Snoop. That was like the first participant of Snoop Dogg. And then, of course, he's been at WrestleManias. He's been on Raw. So Snoop Dogg accepted his honor. He thanked the WWE for accepting him. And there was a little bit of booze for him, but not much. Like, you can crash into celebrity ring all you want with questionable inductees like Drew Carey. I don't think deserves to be in there. Donald Trump, insert political comments here. So, Snoop, of course, thanked everybody for accepting him, and of course gave a shout out to Sasha Banks. That was cool. Ric Flair countered when he inducted Sting by giving a shout out to Charlotte, who got booed. I'm glad they didn't show Roman, because if they showed Roman, he was gonna get his ass booed, like he is tomorrow night at Mania. So then we had Joe London getting the Warrior Award. Second year in a row, we had the Warrior Award given to a worthy except honoree. Exemplifies the spirit of the Ultimate Warrior. He won an award named after him to be given for reasons like this to grateful people, and there's so many people that fight with honor and like a warrior. And of course, Dana Warrior presented it to Joe London, who has fans in the home. And she had an okay speech. For being a celebrity speech, it was fun. Mentioning, of course, the breast cancer battle, trying to find a cure. Anyway, it's a sign. It was the decent speech, being the second to last of the night. Now on to the second highlight of the night. The icon, Sting, to be inducted in the Hall of Fame next. Ric Flair would induct him. And besides New Day and APA, Ric Flair was also one of the most funniest inductive speeches. He had so many great funny stories. A lot of great chuckles in his induction of Sting. There were so many good bits in his speech. I liked it. He said, I think that was another thing, another funny joke. Stan Hansen's speech. I did a lot of jobs. Job, especially when you mentioned about losing to Rick Montero in 9 seconds, which Ric Flair mentioned in his speech. About Stan Hansen mentioning that in his speech. Talking about Sting stories and Steamboat stories too. Of course, his three greatest rivals was Dusty, Steamboat, and Sting. Because he honored Dusty and Piper too, who he inducted in the Hall of Fame back in 2005. With a little bit of a shout out since they've been dead since the last Hall of Fame. So, we had a great inductive speech for Sting. Great funny bits, great funny stories. And here comes the icon himself, Sting, looking good in his tux. And he mentioned Wick, like Wick always wings it. And Sting had a great speech. Probably one of the best speeches of the night was Sting's speech. Of course, mentioned his early days with the Ultra Warrior, Jim Hellwig, back in the U.S. UWF days when he was still green as hell. He mentioned all of his incarnations. And here's the TNA reference I mentioned. He's like, I was Surfer Sting. I was Crow Sting. Should I mention Joker Sting? Now Screwy mentioned Joker Sting. One of his other alterations that was called TNA. Without mentioning the company, he mentioned Joker Sting. It was kind of a weird gimmick. It was kind of like freaky. I know a lot of people have a little indifference to that persona of Sting because he was like really crazy doing that gimmick during that time when he was Joker Sting in TNA. And Bobby Roode, who he feuded with, was, like I mentioned, he was at TNA at the time, and he was also at TakeOver. Maybe signed with WWE. I would love to get signed as Ibushi, who was also at TakeOver. So Sting had a great speech about thinking of his opponents and thinking of his family. Very great speech. Of course, he mentioned something in his speech. The only thing about Sting, sure about Sting, is none for sure until tonight. Well, I mentioned this on the video a couple weeks ago, and there was rumors about this for weeks. Sting denied it. The news was leaked a few weeks ago by TMZ, saying he was going to make a special announcement tonight. And Sting did not say anything. He said that he's not officially, the rumors were not true, but the rumors were true after all. Sting did officially retire tonight. I got a video on here. I won't go in depth like I did on that video. That Sting indeed got to retire as a WWE Hall of Famer. He said he denied it, but I think the only reason why he denied it is because he wanted to keep it a secret. He wanted to publicly announce it. He didn't want to say it on a internet thing. He kept saying in interviews, I'm not retired yet. I want to wrestle Taker. But he did officially retire tonight, as rumors have been saying. And I said in that video that's on my channel about this topic that it is sad we may never see Taker and Sting. The dream match. It was a one more match chant doing it. And Undertaker doing that. And Sting kind of loved it up until the ending when he did mention that he is officially retiring tonight. He had a thank you thing in a standing ovation for him after he made that announcement. And it's still sad to hear him say it. It's been rumored for weeks. And now it's finally officially confirmed. So seeing that it's not goodbye, it's just see you later. He walked out, black shades on. He walked out with the baseball bat. Because he brought out the nightstick for Boss Man's speech. They had a nightstick for Boss Man. At least they brought that in. That was cool. But to see Sting walk out on his own terms, whether or not he was forced to retire with the neck injury, he probably was forced with that neck injury. That's what it was said on the TMZ report that was announced a few weeks ago. So, Sting walked out with pride, in the Hall of Fame, walking out with a baseball bat in his black shades. So, there you go. Sting's officially retired after denying it. I think he was only denying it just because he didn't want the news to get leaked, which it did. He was trying to, hide it. He was trying to... I think he was only saying it in character. I think he was only denying it in character. And now it's official. Sting is officially retired tonight. So I am keeping that video up. So that is it for a WWE Hall of Fame review. It's been a fun weekend thus far. A great takeover. Fun Hall of Fame tonight. And now, on to the big one. The build's not been great. The guy in the main event title match, love him or hate him. Mostly hate him. Don't want him to be there. But we'll see how Mania delivers with a weekend lineup with injuries galore. Something shocking needs to happen tomorrow night. I've always said WWE, when they get an opportunity to do something shocking, they fail every time. They need to do something shocking tonight to save this Mania. Daniel Bryan, shocking. Same Mania in 30. Last year, Seth Rollins, and I called it. He was going to shock the world and cash in Money in the Bank. We need something like that to happen again to save this WrestleMania. Especially if an amazing takeover fighter. So, get ready for my Mania review on this channel tomorrow night. With that in mind, you're going to act by the review from Zach. See ya for WrestleMania. Yeah.